Welcome to AI Founders Mindset. This podcast dives into the stories of visionary founders and the incredible people who power the startup ecosystem. Whether you are building your own venture or simply curious about the world of startups, you are in the right place. Today's episode, the conversation with Yang, building smarter robots, how OpenMind combines AI and personalization. If you like this episode, please subscribe and give you a like. Let's get started. 行きましょう。Hi, Yang. Thank you so much for joining our podcast today. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes. So we met at the Defense Hackathon 10 days ago or almost 2 weeks ago, right?
Yep. Just very recently.
Yeah.
So my startup was a sponsor, and we were trying to get our robots to work properly. And that's why you didn't see me on Saturdays, because nothing was working. So we were frantically trying to get everything to work right. And then we showed up on Sunday.
I see. So please introduce about yourself. What do you do in Silicon Valley? Yeah.
Well, I'm a Stanford professor in the School of Engineering. And mostly what I do is I think about how to use sensitive data to make good decisions, primarily in a healthcare context. So I care about things like reconciling analytics and insight with privacy, which is relevant for things like healthcare. Separately, like everyone on Earth, we've obviously been watching the rapid developments in generative AI. And that has many implications not only for healthcare, but also for robotics. And so separate from the university, I also started a robotics software company. And the idea there is to make it very easy to use modern generative AI to build smart robots.
I see. Thank you. So, Yang, you are a super busy person. You are a professor at Stanford University, and also you started to your own startup. So, what's the name? The company name.
The startup is called OpenMind.
OpenMind.
Yes. It's like a grandiose name, but it's sort of what we're trying to do.
I see. And then, so I remember at the Defense Hackathon venue, there are like 2 or 3 robots.
Well, there was one Boston Dynamics robot, which is sort of the last generation. So like bigger and more complicated to use. And what we're focusing on are robots that are very convenient to reprogram and to customize for particular use cases.
I see. So, you said, if I remember correctly, your company, OpenMind, doesn't create hardware, only software, correct?
No hardware. I learned my lesson with hardware. Hardware is incredibly difficult. A previous company of mine had a hardware component, and we were just ready to start selling things in January of 2020. And remember what happened in January 2020? The entire global supply chain stopped. Airplanes stopped. Ships couldn't. Everything came to a grinding halt. And that was a big lesson for me in terms of building a hardware company.
You are creating all this software. And then at the Defense Hackathon, I saw the robot's face has kind of like emoji. It's funny. I thought someone is like playing the robot, but it was not by some people. The robot itself thinking and then making decision and then walk around. Correct?
Yes. Yeah. So that's what we're emphasizing. We don't want to program a robot by giving it specific rules. We want the robot to look around the world and see and hear, and based on that, generate behaviors and facial expressions and speech using combinations of large language models. Traditionally, when you program robots, some people use something called end-to-end AI. And they want to build one AI that takes raw sensor input and generates behaviors. But we've found that to be very slow, very expensive, and very difficult. And the real opportunity right now with generative AI and large language models is they have already seen everything, heard everything, and ingested the entire internet. And that means that when we use large language models to control robots, they know everything that you know. They know what it means to be a dog, a cat, a doctor, a teacher. They already know all of that, and so we don't have to somehow get that into the model, and we can simply reuse those large language models to generate robots that are easy to reprogram and have really rich behaviors in terms of speech, facial expression, and also good decision making.
I see. So is this B2C or B2B product for your target? What do you think?
Right now we're completely confused. And the problem is that we're a software company, but when people see our robotic dogs, every single one of them says, "Where can I buy one?" And we say, well, you can't. We're a software company, and we're just using the quadrupeds and very soon humanoids to show to you the capabilities of the software, but we're not going to sell you humanoids or quadrupeds. But then they say, I really want one. So we're getting input from people around us that simply want to buy smart robots that they can have a conversation with. So we don't know what to do about that. It's a big decision. We're more comfortable on the software side, but we're certainly starting to think about working with hardware partners so that we can work together to sell solutions to those people who just really, really, really want a smart dog.
I see.
Robotic dog.
Robotics dog. I see. You know what? I think almost 20 years ago, Japanese company Sony created a kind of pet dog robot. It's called Aibo.
Yes.
Do you remember?
I remember it, and I have a secret, which is that that was the first robot I was exposed to, and my mother really likes that specific robot. So one of the memories from when I was younger is my mother saying, Jan, there's this little robotic dog, and I think it's really cute and awesome. And I was talking on the phone with my mother, and I was thinking, that's so strange. My mother is telling me about a robotic dog that she really likes. And that was a very good experience for me because it taught me just how emotionally connected humans can become to robots and machines.
I see. Kind of one of your original primitive experience, and then all brought to your making company.
And the thing that really confuses me is that Japan in particular was decades ahead of everyone else in robotics. As long as I can remember, I remember videos and images of robots in Japan interacting with people, and Japan in particular is world renowned for robotics, and I don't understand where some of the barriers are to Japan really basically owning that entire market, because they were so early. And so it's confusing to me that there's now many other countries that are building very advanced robots, not necessarily in Japan. So I don't know where that gap came from.
Okay, this is super interesting insight, Jan. Okay, so Japanese company, robotics company, has maybe technology and not now, from long ago they already have idea of robot, and also maybe, but it's not easy to buy, find. But here is for example US, not from long ago, but thanks to maybe competition, so they already have super high what can I say, technology, and then they already have like selling as a product and then making revenue. So you are wondering this gap, correct?
Yeah. Well, that happens a lot. If you look at many companies like Google, Google should have been at the forefront of large language models and generative AI, but wasn't. And you can ask similar questions about, like Google has amazing people and companies like DeepMind, and somehow they were sleeping. And then OpenAI and Anthropic and others came in and are now dominant in generative AI. So there's certainly many, many examples of countries and companies that are early and have the brains and the smart people and the technical capabilities, but they're not necessarily the ones who make it first to a compelling product or a market.
I see. This is interesting. So, Jan, I think you will be Japan like this, like Christmas or maybe January. So we could make kind of small like meetup or event inviting Japanese local robotics companies, and then we could have discuss why. Maybe it's kind of fun.
Oh, that would be amazing. Well, discussing why is one thing, and on some level, it really doesn't matter. The important thing is what people do next. Like, what do you learn from it? And obviously, there's incredible technical capabilities in Japan in particular as it relates to manufacturing and robots and control electronics. And so I'd certainly love to tap into the local community. Like for me as a engineer or scientist, it is an amazing time right now, because the software is now at the point where lots of different people can come together to build software that makes robots very smart, very interactive, express emotion, make good decision, plan properly. For example, my 13-year-old son has conversations with one of our robotic dogs to help him with his math homework. What? And so Ben is sitting at the kitchen table. You know, he's working on his math homework, and he asks the robotic dog, "Hey, what's the answer?" And the dog, of course, will tell him. But I don't like that as a parent, because I want the dog to teach Ben, not just say, "Oh, that's easy, I can do that quickly, here's the answer." So what I'm currently working on software-wise is to prevent the dog from simply doing my son's math homework, and instead teaching him how to actually do it so Ben learns more. And it's just a miraculous moment in robotics to be able to have that thing happen like at home.
I see. This is so funny. So, okay, anyway, so current large language models like ChatGPT or Gemini or Llama, they created by only American big company in here, right? Not right?
Well, it's certainly true that some of the main companies that work on generative AI and large language models are in San Francisco or in California right now. But there's certainly decades of work that has led up to that. For example, at DeepMind, at universities everywhere, Japan and China and the US and Europe. So, but it's certainly true that like right now, there's a very high concentration of AI companies right here in the Bay Area.
I don't think the like core team, they don't have super diversity. Like they don't have like Japanese, for example, Osaka prefectures people. So they don't know about maybe super particular culture or tradition in Japan. So, I believe they do improving kaizen, but you know many bias, and also we have to do factor check, right?
Oh, that's an extremely good point. I think there's an incredible opportunity in personalization of robots and AIs, because every family, every person, every city, every school, every hospital, every restaurant, every factory is going to be slightly different. And you can't simply parachute in a robot and say, it's perfect. For every robot or AI, there's going to be a phase where it observes its local environment, pays close attention to people around it and its local environment, and then quickly optimizes itself for different countries and different languages and different preferences and things like that. And so you're absolutely true. So that's one of the major things we're trying to build at OpenMind, is to make it very easy for local communities and groups of people to come together to create robot or AI solutions that are optimized for different places, times, people, region. So it's really that there's no universal robot that will be perfect for everyone.
This is super interesting because, for example, if I am a robot owner and then I can purchase your software and then I want to customize for example, my goal is this dog robot can help my mom's something like housework. So please understand Japanese and Japanese culture and also my mom's some habit.
No, that's exactly right. You can imagine, one thing that robots can do is they can learn and tell other robots what they've learned. So you can quickly spread information through a swarm of robots. So you can imagine situations where you have a robot in your home, it will learn, and then if your neighbor buys a robot too, the robots can talk to one another, and then both of them know Osaka. Yeah. And they know what restaurants are good, and they know what the weather is like, and so they can they're learning, they're like collective learning, and optimizing for different regions can be much faster than for people. But certainly, even at the level of an individual family, every family is a little bit different. For example, we have 3 robotic dogs at home, and I certainly expect those dogs to know who I am. They need to know my face and my name, and they need to understand the children, what their names are. So there's this family context that the robots will need, and that's going to depend on every single family. Like when you start to live with robots at home, and if you're lazy and are busy, then of course you want them to be as helpful as possible. And for example, I'd like to tell one of my robotic dogs, think of what to buy for dinner, or go help me with this other thing. And the biggest barrier I found is that the robotic dogs we have right now at home don't have a hand. Yeah. So they can't open doors, and they can't pull out a credit card to go to the supermarket and pay. So the sort of main technical limitation right now is that a lot of a home is built for humans. A door handle is the most obvious one, to turn the water on, to turn a stove on or off, to open the refrigerator. All those things, of course, involve an arm and a hand, which the quadruped dogs don't have. But we'll have a humanoid robot at home in February. And of course, the humanoid has arms and hands, so we'll see what that allows us to build at home.
Oh my gosh, Jan, so you already purchased humanoid robot?
Yes, it'll be here in February.
From which company?
Well, there's many, let me not go into details, but there's many companies that make good humanoid robots. The one we're getting is a little bit shorter because I think that's less scary. If you get a really tall one and like all of us are looking up at this humanoid robot, that's maybe a bit scary. So we're getting one that's just like 1.30 meters. So it's about the size of like a 10-year-old child.
I see. So reminds me of Star Wars. I love Star Wars.
Oh, good. Right? Yes, so, we all do.
Yes. So if we can buy real C3PO, so he loves chat, right?
Yeah. We had exactly the same problem with the robotic dogs in that they're convinced they're a dog, and so if they see a new person, they just bark. And they bark a lot all the time, like bark, 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 bark. And so sometimes I just unplug them because it just too much barking. But it's very convincing. It's very similar to a real dog, and of course, sometimes they'll bark for a long time, including in the middle of the night. I've had that happen too. We had a power outage, and that somehow reset all the robot dogs because their power on the charging stations also turned off. And so then they all woke up, and it was 4 a.m. And I was in bed just waking up, and I was surrounded by now the 3 quadruped dogs barking and trying to talk to me in the middle of the night. So there's just many sort of fun, interesting experiences we've had as a family living with 3 quadruped dogs.
Oh my gosh. I really want to say hi to your family next year.
And I'm sure that what we're doing is very similar to many other technology companies. This idea of repurposing combinations of interacting large language models to bring about non-trivial human-like and animal-like behaviors is on everyone's radar right now. And NVIDIA is looking into this, Microsoft is looking into this, like you name it, every single like hardware or robotic software company is looking into this. So this is like a big coming wave.
Amazing. Okay, so next question. Tell us about your next milestone in 2025, whatever.
Oh, that's a tall order. Well, where to even begin? Like on a company perspective, right now everything is very messy because we've only been going for a few months. We don't even have like a real headquarters. We don't have a like real robotics lab. We're still hiring people. And so everything seems just like this big mess. It's very creative and a lot of fun, but it's clearly not the way to build a real company. So we're sort of in that inflection where we're going from everything being completely disorganized and crazy to building a real company with different levels of responsibility. And that's really essential so that we can keep growing and keep scaling. I only have like 24 hours a day. And so like for me personally, I have a tendency to want to build stuff myself with my hands. And that has got to go. And like many more people have to join us and start working on all these things. So I'm looking forward to that because right now I'm kind of tired.
And also, how about funding? Because our audience, some of them are investors.
Well, we're fully funded for a long time. So we did our pre-seed in 4 days, and months after that, like literally now, we're in the process of our next raise, and that's also looking very good. So. Money-wise, we're good, and what we're looking for are more strategic partnerships with like robotics companies or companies wanting to automate different tasks in different verticals. And so money is no longer important to us, but what we're looking for are strategic partnerships that allow us to learn about different verticals, build great products, and work together with others that know a lot more than we do about the hardware side.
I see. Thank you. How about you are private in 2025?
Private? What do you mean by private?
For example, I want to do more exercise, or I want to eat healthy, or your fun fact is you are a great creative chef, aren't you?
Well, I've been trying to cook good sushi rice for at least the 10...
rice?
Yes, but it's incredibly difficult. So if I go to a good sushi restaurant, the rice there is typically like very flavorful, has perfect texture, and I've learned just how difficult it is even to cook perfect rice. Personally, there's all the usual things like exercise more, no more cookies, like all those things. But right now, I'm really, really enjoying just teaching at the university and doing research there. And of course, then separately, helping to build a robotics software company.
I see. And then how about I think you are traveling often, right? How about next year? Do you already have plans?
Oh, yeah, sure, like lots of places, but my calendar is so complicated that my time horizon is typically only a few days. So the only thing I know today is that I'm currently in San Francisco, here with you, and next week I'll be in Canada at NeurIPS, which is one of the major sort of computer science AI conferences. And then Japan towards the end of December, early January.
I see. So okay, so if like people want to reach out to you, so your LinkedIn is the best place.
So LinkedIn is great, or if you directly email me, I'm sure as part of the podcast we can provide sort of contact information. LinkedIn is a little bit old-fashioned, like Facebook and searching using Google. Those are all things done by old people. So like Instagram works, Twitter works, or X, or like whatever else you're comfortable with.
I see. You do Instagram and Twitter.
Well, X, please. It used to be. Yeah, I found that more convenient. Like.
Okay, thank you so much for amazing your wisdom today. Okay, anyway, thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, the 3 key takeaways from the conversation with Yang. 1. OpenMind's vision, generative AI for smarter, adaptive robots. Yang's company, OpenMind, focused on using generative AI to create intelligent, adaptive robots capable of natural interactions and decision-making by prioritizing software innovation, avoiding the complexities of hardware. OpenMind partners with hardware companies to deliver scalable robotic solutions tailored to users' needs. 2. Lessons from Japanese robotics industry. Yang raises a compelling question. Despite Japan's early advancements and global reputation in robotics, why hasn't it led to creation of a unicorn robotics company? He highlights the gap between technological capability and market execution, constraining Japanese long history in robotics with the fact commercialization of robotic solutions in other countries like the US. 3. The importance of localization in robotics. OpenMind emphasizes that robotics must adapt to local cultures, languages, and individual hobbies to be effective. From families to industries, customization is key. Robots should learn from their environment and users, creating highly personalized solutions that resonate with their communities. And I like Yan's question as to why Japanese robotics companies have been pioneers but failed to create unicorn companies. Great perspective. If you have your own thoughts or perspective on it, feel free to contact to Yan or me. And okay, also since I am a bridge between the US and Japan, I can set up a small event to discuss those topics. Please feel free to reach out to me. I will be in Tokyo this December and January. Okay, thank you so much for watching our episode today. We hope our episode will help your future and career. Okay, bye bye. またね。